Dozens of families on French Island are drinking and cooking with bottled water after learning their wells are contaminated. As we first reported this week, the city of La-Crosse says the hazardous compound called PFAS was used at the airport for years. It spread through the groundwater and into the wells of surrounding homes. Tonight, those families and their attorney are asking the city to do the right thing. And as News 8 Now's Amy DuPont explains, they say that means protecting their health and property.
Home sweet home is anything but.
I don't think any of us are sleeping really very well right now.
For dozens of families living near the La-Crosse Regional Airport.
We've trusted them as a neighbor to be a good neighbor to us, and it turns out they haven't been.
In 2015, the city of La-Crosse detected a dangerous man-made compound called PFAS in 2 city wells near the airport. But it wasn't until this fall that the city started testing for and found PFAS in dozens of nearby private wells, including Amanda Hartley's.
That whole time, the water was bad, and people that we cared about were drinking it.
PFAS was used to produce the firefighting foam sprayed at the airport for decades. It wasn't until the late 90s that scientists learned exposure to small concentrations of PFAS in drinking water were linked to infertility, thyroid disease, and cancer.
It doesn't take a lot of this chemical, of this compound, to contaminate a lot of water. Essentially it takes like parts per billion. A reference would be 1 drop in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
More than 100 wells tested so far have detectable levels of PFAS, but the city is only providing bottled water to 36 homes with levels above what the DNR considers safe.
It's really scary stuff.
The families and their attorneys say that's not enough.
We want to make sure that they have access to clean water forever, and that they are appropriately compensated for their loss of property value and other damages.
The city committee has set aside $25,000 to pay for bottled water, a short-term solution. The affected homes will need clean water from a permanent source.
The city is exploring avenues for a class action lawsuit.
So far, Mayor Tim Cabot hasn't said who will cover the cost.
Up to this point, quite frankly, the only threats of lawsuits have been directed towards the cities.
It makes me angry and sad.
Amanda is hopeful this battle never enters the courtroom. If it does, she's willing to fight for her family and her neighbors.
It's only right that they work for us in this instance because it's not our fault.
On French Island, Amy DuPont, News 8 Now.
The La Crosse City Council will meet tomorrow to discuss the contamination. The city has already agreed to expand the well testing area. That will begin by next week. PFAS levels can change. The city will retest some wells that were just below the DNR's proposed safety standard to find out if they should be getting bottled water.